Hello everyone, this is Ross from Retro Dream Beam. I'm an eBay seller full time. I've been doing this with my fiance Netta for more than 3 years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to go into what we are shipping out today on Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. Seriously, sometimes I lose track of days because the repetition of eBay is just the same stuff kind of over and over again. All right, so the first thing is going to be a combo order right here. They paid separately, so I'm going to have to combine the shipping. So it's going to be for $30 total. So it's going to be some Star Wars Armada cards right here. There's like 28 of them. There's different like pilot cards and upgrade cards. Well, I think these are just like the pilots and stuff like that, the standard size cards. There's also smaller cards. Star Wars Armada is a game by Fantasy Flight Games where it's in the Star Wars realm. You pick all these big fleets and ships and also smaller ones, set them up on a table and fight against someone else's big fleet that they pick. And then also these are cards and some tokens from one of the expansion. This is the Rogues and Villain expansion. None of these have the ships or anything. These are just the packs of cards. But yeah, the Star Wars Armada stuff can be super expensive if you have like complete things. So yeah, they bought these two, just the cards, and there's also like a little token set. The tokens aren't like a big deal because every expansion comes with like extra like evasion tokens and stuff. People usually have enough of those. But yeah, $30 for that or slightly more than 30 plus shipping. Everything's gonna be plus shipping. All right, next up right here, we have this binder. This is Ultimate Guard. This is kind of like their Flex Filio or something. All these companies that make binders kind of put some like made up name so that when someone like types it up into like a distributor or something, they can figure out which one. That's why when you see like different weird names on paint bottles, everyone can't have a green paint, like acrylic paint, because then you can't really look it up if you're looking for like army paint or green, it'll be like orc something or like mustard something, it has weird names. Same thing with these binders. So binders are interesting because a lot of these companies will make a binder design. Someone really likes it, they will then put their Pokemon cards or Magic cards in a collection with a bunch of different binders. But eventually, at some point, these companies, they're always like innovating on themselves and on other companies that make these accessories. Therefore, some of these lines just, they become like out of print anymore. But then someone might still have a Magic the Gathering collection. They could be like, I want all my white cards in a white binder. I want the same type of brand and stuff. So some of these like binders and accessories and sleeves, when they like kind of go out of print, some of them can be more expensive. This one just sold for $8. This was a used binder. It had cards in here that I listed. I don't remember, probably like Star Wars or some other dead card game, but I always like to keep like there's a couple of marks here on the front, but people still like them. So I don't know how many people know this, but there's going to be two types of card game players. There's the modern, or at least how they sleeve the cards. So modern players like these black backing and side loading sleeves, or a lot of like old school sports collectors, probably older gentlemen, they like the 3-ring binder where you get to put the pages in and you get to put the cards up top. But yeah, the more modern version for like Magic and Pokemon is usually these binders. I do like the side loading black backed or backed binders better than the 3-ring binders, because a lot of those cards slip out and fall out if they get turned upside down. Or if this one gets turned upside down, it's very unlikely that the cards inside the side loading pop out. It's not impossible, but yeah, $8 for this. They sent a $8 offer. We went up to, I think I went up to 12. They sent back an $8 offer, and then that was just like, whatever, we'll just take it. All right. Next up is going to be the HoloLive official card game. These are going to be all the Japanese cards. I did a video on the weekend going through all the HoloLive stuff I got and then the Warhammer stuff I got. So this is the first thing that's sold from that batch of stuff. So it's 3 of these particular character. I have to look because it's written in Japanese, but I looked up like the English version. This is Hashimachi Susi. I probably said her name wrong. HoloLive is like Vocaloid. They're like anime singers, super popular for a lot of people. I don't know too much about them other than they're popular. But yeah, 3 cards for the Japanese card game sold for $10. The English version of this game just dropped. Japanese usually has a bunch of card games before the English version, and they have way more card games that people enjoy than people here in America. So like the card game world is kind of, it can get really in depth once you start branching out from like America's card game. So $10 for the set of 3 is pretty good. Those are like double rares. They have different rarities in Japanese card games. It's more like the mobile games where you get like a double rare, and then you get a super rare, then you get an ultra rare, then you get triple rare, stuff like that. So where like Pokemon will kind of just have like, common, uncommon, rare, and then they'll have like alt art versions and stuff. And then same thing with Magic. Magic at some point added a mythic rare, but in general, there's more rarities in these Japanese card games than English ones. All right, next up, speaking of manga or like an anime, Naruto, never watched it. This is going to be uncut box sets number 13. Got a bunch of these anime DVDs, movies, and then not TV shows a bit ago with a bunch of books, like mangas, just various types of. I sold a set of 2 yesterday, if you guys remember, probably not. But yeah, that was from like the same haul I did. This one ended up selling for $16. Got them relatively cheap. So yeah, people like Naruto. That one's like a super long running one. I actually know very little about it other than like the joke about how they run. All right, next up is going to be this vintage 1964-ish like educational game called Blackout. I like to get the 1960 games, 1970s. They do pretty well for me. They also look like junk for other people out and about. I just even if they sell for cheaper, I just find them intriguing. I just think it's crazy that you're holding like a 60-something-year-old game in your hand. So it's really cool to see like the history of board games all the way up to like today, where I'm into like modern ones. I would even say I'm like slightly behind in modern ones by like a year or two, just because I don't have the money to invest into a bunch of Kickstarters. But that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, $24 for this one. I've been enjoying my more mid 2010 board games and stuff recently, but I do have like a couple modern ones. I mean, I have board games of all sorts and types. All right, next up, it's like thunderstorming right now. I actually am probably still wet, which was a problem because I had everything in the car. And then, of course, when I like park here, the thunderstorm started happening. It's pretty relaxing. I like thunderstorms and stuff, but I was lucky because all of our bags have like little, they can wrap around, like the recycled bags I have where I carry stuff. The big green one, big blue one, have like Velcro and stuff that like snap shut. And I like carried it carefully in here with all the stuff. But yeah, I got drenched in the process. I took all the splash damage from the rain. All right, next up is going to be a combo order. I did a video last night about this. We finally figured out this issue we were having with eBay international orders, where someone occasionally would tell us like, hey, it's saying that you don't ship to us. And we didn't have any exclusions. So we figured if they log out of their country's eBay account to log into the USA one and then purchase from there, the international like everything actually worked. And then I dug into forums and found that was the solution. We tried it with this person because they were reaching out. This took like an hour or actually like 2 hours to get the sale done. They wanted these two Arkham Horror lots, but they accepted our offers. It wouldn't let them pay because they said that we wouldn't let them pay, which was not true. So yeah, these are both incomplete Arkham Horror board game. This is not the card game. It has a bunch of expansions. I never played it. It looks cool, looks good. We have a lot of games to go through. I have the base game. We got into the card game version more. But yeah, you're basically picking an investigator. You're solving some kind of mystery. So if you're playing with cards, you're doing it through cards. If you're playing a board game, there's bits and pieces and cards. There's tons of expansions for this game. People love this. Like, it's a super popular one, even the old stuff. These are just cards and tokens from expansions. The person, it's going international for $34 for a combo order. So a lot of chunky orders today, which was good. Less orders, but chunkier. So all that matters is like what ends up coming into it, like our bank account at the end of the day. I've talked about that before. All right, but next up is going to be these. I got these a long time ago. These are going to be, they're called like off the track plaster dungeon door like tiles. I think that these are like something from the 80s where you would use these to, I don't know if you like peel these off and then like you kind of design like a little dungeon. I think these come from like a base set where you have like a base board. Like I said, it's been like a year or two since I listed these, so I'm just like trying to like, you know, extract the memory of when I looked into them when I got these. So yeah, I think someone's going to use these for Dungeons and Dragons or RPG games as doors, as little tiles. They're going to like formulate something. It looks like you can paint these. I think there might be like a different method because they're plaster. But yeah, they bought 2 lots of these, $43.20. I have more of those listed. They just wanted 2 lots, so 20 doors was probably enough. All right, last thing for the day is Hero Games Champions in 3D. So I sell a lot of the Champions, which is going to be the superhero RPG system. They sell for way less and than like the popular stuff like Dungeons and Dragons, but people still occasionally pick them up for me. I find them just uncommon enough where I always pick them up because I know they do sell for when someone wants them. I've done a couple of combo orders like years ago on these. Like people occasionally pick up a couple. If I had to take a shot in the dark, maybe someone wants to, like, the Superman movie's been pretty popular, so maybe someone like they were thinking Superman, then they got them thinking, they were like, oh yeah, I haven't played Champions with my players in a while, and oh, I need this book because these books will have like different adventures or characters or stats for people playing the RPG game, either for the dungeon master or for the players. So that's probably in my head how they did the line. I mean, you never really know like why someone picks up something, but I like to sit there and theory craft about why this particular item sold. But yeah, $12 for this one. So yeah, I think that's everything. That is everything, but with like the $34 sale, $42 sale, 20. So like these are chunkier than what I've been having in the past. So it doesn't really matter that it's a less quantity for me. All right. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Hope everyone's having like a good hump day so far.